What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Paul, this is Hyperfocus, and today we're talking about the MVB. MVB stands for Minimal Viable Brand, and this is actually something that's not new. This is a term that has been part of software development for many years, namely the MVP, Minimal Viable Product. And what software companies would do back in the day would be they would spend millions of dollars, hours and hours, days and days, night after night developing software that would eventually end up in the marketplace. But the problem here was they never tested the marketplace to see if the products that they were building were actually needed or wanted. So to speed up the process, they created this idea of the MVP. Now the MVP is taking small parts of the product and pushing those as quickly as possible to market to test for validation. Now, you can imagine that this is obviously quicker and cheaper when there are parts of the software programs that people don't actually want. If there's a brand new feature that nobody really cares about, then you can just cut it and concentrate on the things that are important. And the same goes with the idea of the MVB. And this has been kind of translated over to branding. And the idea and the principles are exactly the same. When creating a brand, often your product develops much quicker than your brand does. And the principle here of the MVB is to not worry so much about getting your brand right in the first place. And I'm sure this is probably a relief, because you may have a great product, but sometimes your brand doesn't live up to that product, and that's nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, the idea of the MVB allows you to actually take your product and your brand to market and engage with the consumer. And this is incredibly important, that you find a way to actually be able to find out what's good about your brand and what's bad about your brand, and kind of over time shave off the edges that don't work. Now in product development, in digital product development, we have this term of constant beta, and I think this is a great analogy. Behind it is the essence of something never being finished. It means there is a constant iteration, and this is great. This is great news for branding. When we apply the same types of processes and ideas and mindset to branding, it means that we are also in a constant state of beta. Ultimately, we continue to grow. And by growing, we talk with our audience. And this is, again, something that's incredibly important that we do as a brand. We engage with our consumers. Gone are the days when brands ruled the world and told everybody what they should think and what they should believe and what they should fall in love with. Now, the power is with the consumer. With social media and social media influencing and social media marketing, we are so much closer to the brand than ever before. And when we start to realize this from a brand development process, we also understand that actually, even though the consumer is close, the consumer doesn't own the brand. You own the brand. You are the ones who decide the purpose and the mission and who you're going to talk to. There are companies in this world like Harley-Davidson and Red Bull who execute this fantastically. If you look at Red Bull, they cornered the extreme sports market. That was their focus. If you look at Harley-Davidson, they focused on one particular type of market. And often what happens is, as companies are growing, the investors or the people actually behind building brands and products think, well, the best way to actually engage with an audience is to, well, simply engage with everybody. Well, that's detrimentally wrong. At the end of the day, if you try to engage with everybody, you don't engage with anybody at all. The way to fully focus is to decide where you're going, who you're talking with, and engage with that market. Apple is also a great example. We live in a crazy, multicolored world, and Apple constantly tell these emotional stories. They look to their audience, they look to the consumer and give them what they want. They talk the language of the consumer. So in some case, Apple is an MVB. Apple is in constant state of beta. It will constantly evolve. The Apple of yesterday is not the Apple of today, and it will not be the Apple of tomorrow. So the MVB is not a new thing. We borrow and take these ideas from other industries, but this is a fantastic thing, and this is something that the industry needs to do, and the industry needs to be able to serve and understand you guys. And by finding these methods and these terms and applying them to the things that you're doing, ultimately you're going to be able to create a fantastic brand experience that will evolve over time. So, what have we learned? We learned what MVB is, we've learned the history, we've learned it's a mentality, it's a perspective, it's a way to move about building your brand. You can have the best product in the world, but if you do not talk to your audience, if you do not engage, and if you are not flexible to test and validate and change and adapt, you will not develop the brand loyalty that you deserve. So with saying that, I'll leave you with this. An MVB is a great mindset. It's not necessarily a tool. It's agile, it's conversational, and it's beneficial not just to you, but also to your audience. So keep it lean and keep it MVB. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button. It really helps us to grow the channel, and we will see you in the next one.